If I told you there was a young professional wrestler in one of the big two that has amassed over 1 million views for something that he did almost a month ago and he has not been seen on primetime television since, would you believe me? Let's talk about it. What's up, you guys? It's the Wrestling Old Head. You have entered the portal of pro wrestling. We're about to enter the vortex and talk about AEW talent Lio Rush. Lio Rush, previously a part of this tag team called Crew, along with Action Andretti, that were floating around the lower mid-card, mostly opener, really close to enhancement talent. Sometimes they showed up in Ring of Honor. Most of the time you saw them on Collision. Didn't really do a whole lot. I remember there was some sort of a tease between them facing the Hurt Syndicate, and that never really panned out at all. And there is some history between Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley that dates back to the WWE, but they never really followed up on that. And after a couple of months of just kind of being absent of television, Lio Rush made his return to AEW in a primetime format on Collision, March the 18th, 2026, and he wrestled Tommaso Ciampa. When he came out, Lio Rush came out, he had these weird contacts, and he had this very unique movement where a lot of wrestling fans, unfamiliar with what I'm about to speak about, kind of equated it to Gollum from The Lord of the Rings. And I totally can see that. I can totally see where they're coming from when they say that. However, those familiar with Lio Rush and his independent wrestling run are familiar with this character named Blackheart, which kind of materialized over, I think it was a guy named, I forget who it was. It was an independent wrestler. There was a feud going on that had amassed over a few months, and Lio Rush became possessed. This character then started to materialize. And if you follow on his YouTube channel, you can see video packages. There's going to be some clips that I'm able to put on this video. I spoke about this character over a year ago and how I would have loved to see this on AEW television, WWE television, just getting primetime shine, because I'm really a fan of this character. It is really captivating, and I think it is something that professional wrestling needs right now, because it's not just like a hokey gimmick, cartoonish, and kind of you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but also this guy commits to the character. So it's not just this gimmick that he's just stuck with and you see it and it's goofy. He commits in such a way that it really turns people's eyes away because of how creepy it is. He's method acting right now when he comes out as this character, and you can see he has a lot of fun, and you can see that there's a lot of passion behind it, and that is what professional wrestling, in my opinion, is really missing. I grew up in the 90s, so the hokey gimmicks are something that I have become accustomed to, and that I've sorely missed over the course of the last 3 decades in professional wrestling. You've seen a couple that have come and gone. I mean, they've tried to do things like Kazarni and Mordecai, but when I grew up, it was Gangrel, it was Papa Shango, obviously it was The Undertaker. These were the characters that you saw that were larger than life. They were supernatural in nature, and you kind of had to look at it through a suspension of disbelief. You had to kind of give it the benefit of the doubt. You knew that this was a character. You knew that this wasn't actually real, but some of the pageantry and the special effects and everything, they really helped tell a larger story that really helped bring you and get you involved in the characters' matches. And that's what I see with Lio Rush. The only other character that I can kind of equate to that recently is Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, who really committed to his character, The Fiend, and really brought it to life in a way that if he would have had the right creative minds behind it that really believed in the vision of Bray Wyatt, then he could have been even bigger of a legend, even bigger of a success in the pantheon of some of the greats. Unfortunately, he had passed away before creative can really get behind that character and see it through to the other side, because The Fiend character could have been the next Undertaker in the WWE, in my opinion. Lio Rush is probably not going to be the next Undertaker, okay? He is all of 5'8". He's a high flyer. But this character has some story behind it and a lore behind it that I really like to see envisioned in a world primetime setting. AEW, however, is not the type of company that I think would get behind this type of gimmick. I think it's great that they're allowing Lio Rush to kind of like start from scratch and build this character to hopefully what I had seen on the independent circuit, which I was a huge fan of. I'm hoping that Tony Khan gives him that leeway to do it in AEW. It seems like it's probably going to be more something that he puts towards Ring of Honor, because I really just don't think Tony Khan buys into those types of gimmicks. I don't think that AEW is the type of company that is going to let that character flourish the way that it should. AEW is a company where, you know, they say it's where the best wrestle. So the things like gimmicks and supernatural and all that stuff, they don't really give that a lot of time. You know, there are characters in AEW that I feel like are just kind of swimming around the drain because they're not the types of wrestlers that AEW or maybe their audience would really be in favor of, right? So there's characters like the Hurt Syndicate, widely popular, but the type of wrestling that they do is not something that I think AEW is really focusing on. Look at guys like Lance Archer. You look at guys like Mark Davis. Those guys could be top talent. You know, Jake Something, when he comes back from his injury, they're larger than life characters. They're larger than life athletes, legitimately. But AEW really puts their back behind guys like Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, Pac, the high flyers, the guys that do the crazy stuff, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page. These are characters that have some realism. They speak from the heart, and there's not a whole lot of gimmickry behind that, you know? And with a character like Lio Rush, I just feel like that's a type of gimmick that the WWE, I think, would chew up. But I don't know if because of Lio Rush's size that the WWE would even get behind it. So it's a very unique situation, and I was hoping that we would see it in a company like MLW. You guys are going to rip me in the comments, but even a company like Juggalo Championship Wrestling, I think, would really appreciate the type of character that Lio Rush had on the independents and see it through from its inception all the way up to this character that would be on a television market that can get an opportunity to be something big. With Lio Rush as the Blackheart, he drinks from this goblet, but it's shaped like a real heart, not like the heart that you see for Valentine's Day, like a real like heart with the vessels. And he drinks this black liquid and it gives him power. And on the independent circuit, it worked so well, very similar to what you might have seen recently on SmackDown with Danhausen, where he gave the goblet to the ref and the ref stopped. It was like the ref paused. He was suspended. And the crowd ate that up. It was an amazing moment. And then there was another moment where Myron Reed from the Rascals was wrestling Lio Rush, and he grabbed it and he actually drunk from it, and then he got possessed. And it was such a cool moment. You know, obviously, you know, it was probably a lot of people that would think that was hokey or cheesy, but they all committed, they all believed in it, and it actually worked. And I think if you really give that time to build a story on a primetime setting with episodic television week to week and going into a big pay-per-view, it can be something that is really special, that stands out. And I'm not the only one that sees something there with this character, because Lio Rush showing up to wrestle on Collision and losing to Tommaso Ciampa, that just the inception of that character in the AEW realm amassed so many views. There were so many people that were interested in it. The dog walking into the suicide dive, the way his eyes looked, the way he giggled and laughed, and his intensity, it garnered this large following that went viral. And the fact that Tony Khan hasn't followed up on that just shows me that even though he could not deny the popularity behind that, he's probably just struggling to find a way for that to work within the realm of AEW. They do hardcore, they do parkour, they do high flying, but they really don't delve into the world of the hokey gimmicks. So, I look at a guy like TJ Perkins, for instance, in AAA. He came from New Japan. He had like this Filipino ghost type of a gimmick out in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it looks like he's starting to bring that into the AAA setting. If Lio Rush went to AAA, I have no doubts in my mind he would be a huge sensation there. But that's something of a lane that he could possibly think about if Tony Khan is not going to give him that lane. But I think what you saw on Collision was an inception. It was the beginning of the character. You saw the contacts, the crazy smile, the awkward movesets, the kind of supernatural aspects. It was only the beginning. When you start to see him in the face paint, when you start to see him with that goblet around his neck with the shape like a heart with the blackness, and when you start to hopefully see a video package like the ones that he has made himself that is available on his YouTube channel, Lio Rush, I am Lio Rush, at I am Lio Rush, then if you can hopefully appreciate, and I'll leave the link down in the description box below, you can hopefully appreciate what I appreciate about a character like this, is that if you give him the chance to grow on the primetime scene with episodic television, there is not going to be any stopping a character like that, because it really stands out in today's professional wrestling market. You just don't see it a lot. And I really am a fan of this character, the Blackheart Lio Rush, and I hope it gets a chance to grow in AEW. Probably is going to get a chance to grow in Ring of Honor, where there's not a whole lot of eyes on the product, and that's okay, because if they don't respect this character and they don't give it the proper television time, my hope is that he finds an avenue, whether it's NWA, Major League Wrestling, AAA, JCW, somewhere where he can go where it is appreciated and it has the chance to grow. Because Lio Rush has been in professional wrestling for a very long time. The guy is only 31 years old. He's still got another 10 to 15 years at least in professional wrestling, and that's the type of character that can set him up into the pantheon of professional wrestling greats, in my opinion. But what do you guys think about this character? Are you familiar with the lore behind the Blackheart Lio Rush? And are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Do you think AEW is going to appreciate the type of character that Lio Rush is attempting to bring to the big stage in AEW? And if not, where do you think he should go? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again for checking out this video, guys. If you like this video and more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you're always aware when I drop out of the portal of pro wrestling to talk about the professional wrestling product. Guys, thanks again for watching the video. Leave a comment down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.